Hey guys, welcome to the Personal Paradigm Season 2. Paradigm? Yeah. Personal Paradigm Season 2. Um, from Season 1 until now. I want to start by saying that it was a huge experience and pleasure to go out and connect with a lot of the people that I wanted to just do this with. A lot of the people, for one, the last the first episodes that I started out with was just me, and brought on Victor, brought on 2 Minutes with Vic, cousin Nights of Horror co-host, Justine, Case Mom, and my cousin again. And I think going into my second season, I wanted to bring on a lot more people that I was fortunate enough to connect with through my journey, starting the podcast, experiencing COVID, as you all know, as well, and adjusting to a lot of changes that I had experienced throughout the year. This by far was the most fortunate, humbling, confusing, and rewarding year that I've had so far. As far as just being 26, a lot of experiences that I've came across, not only on an individual level but socially too, and as a collective. It was something for me to really come to terms with in the scope of my role and who I want to be moving forward. Um, just celebrating 25 years, and now going into my next 25 years. I can only hope that they were as experienced and as fun than they were compared to the last 25 years, going and moving forward. Um, I don't know, quarter century is a nice way to round it out. You got a little quarter, silver coin, and something like a trademark, so to speak. Quarter century, quarters in terms of school. And I don't know what better way for me to kind of reflect on that than to really sum it up in a book that I had authored on my own, developed, and created, as well as really experiencing what it means to put myself out there within that part of the arts. I don't think I would have ever seen myself write a book um, when it came to those themes that I had shared. Not to mention that I'd gotten some pretty well reviewed ratings from the premature time that it was released, and I'm totally okay with that, especially just starting out as someone going through this and not having a formal experience as far as marketing or any kind of degree in that aspect. My priority in school was mostly going through and experiencing just the psychology realm, the psychology field, the science, soft science, however you may call it. And that's usually where I see a lot of my stuff operate from. When I was starting Personal Paradigm 1, I was finishing up my senior year, and it's December now. I have my degree in bachelor's. It took a little longer than I expected. However, I had a couple bumps in the road in terms of just exploring my own path and going through a lot of developmental changes that shaped me into the person I am today, especially in college. Opening up and learning more into that field than I had when I was 15 um, really helped me become very aware of a lot of the issues that I saw myself in. And initially, I wanted to touch that on Personal Paradigm 1, Season 1, and really open it up, except that I didn't know how to articulate it quite well. And, of course, navigating however much I wanted to. And I figured, I need to end things. And I figured rounding it out at 10 episodes was something for me just to, put a pin in it for now and focus on other projects that I wanted to do. I had the pleasure of really collaborating with a lot of individuals and helping realize their visions when it comes to brands, passions, and projects that they wanted to develop. And that was one of the things that I really had a lot of enjoyment in after season one. A lot of networking, a lot of connections, and just really finding ways for me to just express other ways of my interests, whether it's helping others at the root of it, in my full time job and my other job too as well, and helping that with paying the bills, but also like finding other passions outside of quote unquote work, so to speak. And yeah, developing the book was the main emphasis in terms of finding that kind of niche. Um, Along the way, I've made a lot of friends, new friends, rekindled a lot of old friendships as well. And once the book came out, it was just a very warm experience. Initially, when it came out in the summertime, it was right when my birthday came out, and leading up to the birthday was just like so perfect. Everything before then, it was just, for the most part, as best as COVID could express, you know. In this year, it was good. I mean, a lot of people were excited. They got to see excitement in the book and me coming up in that aspect on some level. And I could not be more grateful for that. That was something that I was just super excited about. I wanted to wait to release it before for a certain time, and then as everyone all knows too, we had our social justice issue that was ignited by George Floyd as well, and so I was very much patient in terms of when the timing could be for something like that to release a personal project. And in addition to that, in that part of the year, it was something to reflect on heavily in terms of things that affect me, people that looked like me, um, and my role in all of this too as well. And of course, like leading by example and showing what acceptance looks like and diversity and celebrating that has been my piece in terms of how it affected me. And to really just express that and to really act as a model for a lot of those things, because yeah, that was one of the things that hit me pretty hard. And I know that was months ago, but I do a lot of reflecting when it does come to these types of things, so that way I can have a more confident response in the way that I articulate it than I do for other things too as well. And there's going to be more on that, later down the line. And yeah, now it's December. Finally have my degree in bachelor's in psychology. Still exploring this whole art world, and always remained humbled in it no matter what. Just want to thank everybody that I connected with years ago, as far as just instilling that passion in me when I was way young. And yeah, it was a huge just experience when it came to being out in downtown LA, connecting with all kinds of gallery artists, gallery curators, street artists, and being involved on a month-to-month basis and just seeing a lot of routines that I now still hold within me, and really developing and using that as my base. And so, yeah, what better way to create personal paradigm too than within my space, and especially through video format. I've done a lot of growing and upped my gear, as hopefully you guys will be able to see later. And I have a lot planned for this season, so to speak. I'm hoping to hit 20 episodes. I have, I'd say, about 75% of that set up. But it did say that December 31st is the release date. So this is what I got right now. In 30 days, we'll see if that changes. in addition to the book and celebrating everything that got put into that format, um, it's fridge. Everything that got put into that format. Um, I want to announce that book two is also 75% done. Um, so more on that, definitely. But September 15th next year, there is going to be another book released. And that's to honor Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th through October 15th, and to really just not so much make it about me, but to really expand myself and the role that I have in this world as someone who is of a different skin color than majority, but also celebrating that in my heritage and my roots and a lot of the problems that people like me go through. Of course, through poetry, through short story added to this format, and a lot of different features that are going to be added into this book. I'm also making it 100% original in terms of everything that is in this book is mine. As far as photography, my footage. As far as the poetry, the writings, and the publication, it's not my publication, but I'm going to be going through a publisher. But as far as the content and everything in this book, every single word, aside from a couple quotes from the very beginning of the book that I pay homage to and tribute to, this is something that I tried to make as 100% original as possible. This last book that I released, it was curated from a couple websites that artists had offered their work, and of course, like I credited them in the back of the book. And so my next project for this piece of like my world was to create something a little bit more ambitious. So yeah, I taught myself photography, and in spite of learning that gift, in addition to all the design work that I've created and all the skills that I developed through that area, I figured why not give it another shot, start out with another book, and put all that in there this time. And so I did, and it was fun. Let me tell you, it was fun. Like I was going out there, taking pictures, really capturing humanity. Of course, with everybody's consent too, and in the public eye. That was a big experience to really go out there and take photos and capture things as natural as possible. And so, in doing so, I really immersed myself in a lot of the social issues that I wanted to be more aware of and to be more educated in. And hopefully, my plan in season two is to emphasize that. So, of course, to emphasize just topics about mental health, especially as a guy, as a male, and to really collaborate and connect because this is something I feel so passionately about. It's always been something that I've wanted to do, and honestly, like getting a certificate, getting a degree, doesn't doesn't define that for me because growing up at 15, that was still something I wanted to do. It was still something that I wanted to research about, and even though like I didn't have the formal experience as far as learning psychology from a psychologist or from an educator until the next year, I was still on Wikipedia. I was still online. Like everything I'm doing now, I'm still learning and wanting to just teach myself and have that acquired self education. And then the degree came later and all those other credentials and stuff. But for the most part, that was something that I wanted to do no matter what, was to get involved in this field. So, with that being said, that's what personal paradigm is. It's something that's personal for me and kind of creates this framework that is personal to me as far as what a paradigm is. It's a set of beliefs, set of ideas, a set of frameworks. And I can only express it in the way that I know how because that's me. And so people that I bring on into the show, that's them. That's how they express themselves. That's their personal paradigm. And of course, we do have a shared mindset, shared ideas, shared set of things that, you know, kind of make us relate to each other. But I've done a lot of reading outside of just textbooks and schools, and becoming involved in so many other ways. And I don't know, this is my attempt to do that. So as vulnerable as this is, as much as I'm trying to open up and integrate all of my experiences, personal paradigm kind of adds this extra layer. Because, like, I'm a busy guy. Everybody that I connect with, they know that, like, from start to finish, I'm put on. I got a green light, and this is another way for me to express that in another area, in another envelope that is sent to the world. So yeah, personal paradigm season 2. I got a lot to plan for, starting with some childhood friends, some peers that I connected with this year. Family. Some of my family wanted to sign up, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it brief. I'm gonna keep it nice, short, and sweet, because I'm not going to like dive too much into it yet. But this is something that
we need to go our ways. Don't you see the mess you made? Yeah, I'ma hit the road.